AI design truly, truly sucks. And not just like the existence of it, that's already been established, but just the output that has been circulating on the internet and through a lot of businesses lately. It's really funny to see. Just initially, my reaction is upset, but the response of it is amazing because it makes my heart so happy to know that people are truly against this. And I really believe that it's this corporate office 40 to 50-year-old millennial that's always like, this is exactly what we need. This is the future. We're going to pump everything in this and hedge all of our bets on this. It's not a bubble. It's not a bubble. And this is going to replace everything. This is the start of the utopia. And a lot of younger people, which I see on Instagram, when you see a post that's made with AI, all of the comments underneath are just these hilarious gifs about like AI slop and water being taken off of the earth. And everybody's pretty conscious of where this ball is rolling to. And I believe it's just the older crowd that is just assuming like it's going to be somebody else's problem. We're going to get and siphon all of the money out of this. And this is all just late stage capitalism symptoms. But AI design, what a funny trend is going on now is this whole thing of if your flyer is made with AI, I'm not coming to your event. I'll post some of them here. It's awesome to see that everybody's just getting on board with this. And it's another iteration of making it known and vocalizing that this is not something that we want or okay with. And I see and hear a lot of older people talk about how, well, either they don't know or care about AI, and the other one is this is everything. This is saving me so much money. This is doing this. This is doing this. And they think that they're accomplishing so much and that we can now X out these big agencies. But in terms of a brand and design perspective, all of it is just creating a bigger, larger mess that is going to have to be, deciphered and fixed by somebody like me or other designers at some point in the future. What really hurts me about all of this, and this is coming from my bias as a designer, are seeing designers themselves, ones that I've followed, loved for years, taking on sponsorships for these AI products from these Silicon Valley post-apocalyptic companies that are just giving you $3,500 for an Instagram post and pretend that you actually use this and sell this to somebody else. And if you pass off 3 or 4 subscriptions, we'll give you another post. This is truly damaging in multiple ways. I'll go through, I guess, the first right now, which is the designs suck. And it's going against the design process in which people know it and which people who don't know should understand it, because when they are operating their business off of these poor principles, they are damaging their brand consistency, their brand voice, and just the integrity when somebody is seeing this and they see that it's using AI and something is so blatant that I don't want to shop with you. It's like if you have a bad website and you sell products, it's going to be hard to convert people into customers when I don't trust putting my credit card on your website. I don't know what you do with these things. I don't know what's going to happen. Is your database going to get, hacked and then all of my information is included there? So if you build a trustworthy foundation, you are much more likely to be future proof in terms of trust, consistency, and even just, standing out from the crowd. 2 is going off of standing out from the crowd. You won't be able to stand out from the crowd, and you are giving people a false sense of the design process. When you are designing things on a large language model, it's a culmination of everything that it's scoured, ripped, and stolen off of the internet from people like me, people like my friends that spend hours and hours and hours producing creative work. And you are creating an amalgamation of those things. The best way I understand it is if you have a bunch of different Play-Doh. You have red, blue, green, purple, pink, orange. And if you've ever seen like a kid play with Play-Doh enough, it all starts to turn into this one purplish, brownish, grayish color. And that means that your response, which is the output that you are putting out into the world, comes from that brown pile. That brown pile is nothing new. That brown pile is not pushing the culture in any way forward. That brown pile is not something that's going to be taught in schools. And you may say, okay, well, I don't care about being taught in schools. I don't care about pushing design forward. I don't care about giving back. I don't care about being a resource to other designers, which is fine. You don't have to be any of those things, but what you're doing, you are making people misunderstand what this process is for other people and yourself. So if you're a business owner, you are running everything that you have through AI, and then eventually you get to the place where I want to have some actual branding. You're going to assume actual branding is just an offshoot of what this AI has produced for you. And now you are capping yourself and giving yourself this glass ceiling of how far you can go and how far you can push the limit because you've built up some rapport with people and you don't want to stray too far from that. I'm currently working with somebody that they are coming off of using AI and they're trying not to. And the more posts I see, the more it makes me cringe and like pucker up because like this is truly terrible. And I understand that you're made to believe that this is the most efficient way. But the most efficient is not what is going to get you clients, is not it's not what's going to get you customers, eyes, people involved in your organization. What's efficient is what's lazy in this space. And especially with design, it's just pure laziness. I used to laugh when we heard Canva template. And, you know, as somebody that designs everything by hand, I don't use AI in any step of my design process. AI has nowhere to live in that because that design process is what you're paying for. So this automation of the process is what you are trying to make more efficient. But by making it more efficient, you are now cutting yourself out of it. And for people that own businesses, that process is based off of all of the competitors in your market. So as a business that should or want to stand out, whether you're serving a large customer base and franchising, or if you're a small community nonprofit organization, you want to do something new. And when you are building a brand, you have two options: fit in with the mold or try to break that mold. And you could do that strategically because if you're in the healthcare or the health space and a lot of things are green and blue, you could strategically say, okay, let's go purple and red because that helps us stand out against the competition. Our packaging in stores is going to look completely different. Our marketing pamphlets are going to look completely different. But then you could go too far outside of that. And then now I don't even relate this to the market that I'm involved in. And now it's tough to get conversions because you are lacking that trust. So you need to strategically balance those things. And all of those decisions are made through long conversations, understanding the people behind it, understanding the goals of the business. And you can write all of these and you can prompt all of them in and you can get probably a decent idea of what that is. But when it comes to designing it, you are going to miss the mark, and businesses are missing the mark. If you are using AI in your designs, you are missing the mark. You are creating more problems for yourself later. You're putting duct tape over this giant hole. And what's going to happen is that crack becomes bigger and bigger. And you are now going to be trapped because to clean that up means starting from scratch. And you are not going to want to start from scratch if you've built that equity. The third thing that upsets me is that with designers and businesses in general relying on this AI handicap, is that you are now completely undermining one, your entire education, and two, all of the work and proactivity that a lot of people have been putting into trying to fight for artists' rights. For your education, some people have spent upwards of 40, 50,000 plus dollars on years and years of education. All the sleepless nights, all of the tutorials watched that are actually made by people that are giving themselves for the sake of education and helping other people learn. What you were doing is you're feeding all of that just into some humming box in like Columbus, Ohio, some big data center. And now you are giving this information to help. And you're giving that part of you that it makes you the designer that you are, that distinction that you own compared to the other people to the left and the right of you posting on Instagram, fighting for a spot in the algorithm. You are making that difference and your advantage less and less important. And just the vocalization of artists' rights and all of these things, while it's tough to see because it may not be as distinct as when people were taking the Studio Ghibli art style and making profile pictures and stuff with it. There's so many designers that put in decades and decades of work that it's absolutely just being ripped off of the internet. And then there's a whole bunch of garbage behind it. Like if you go on Pinterest, Pinterest has so many terrible designs. If you look up certain types of logos on Google, terrible, terrible, terrible designs. You have to scroll through pages before you can get to something that's even like decent. And then that's just for the inspiration. You know, that's it's not design. It's just pure lazy. And the excuses, like I mentioned before, are, well, it helps my business be more productive. I don't have money for a designer. At this point, I'm going to lay down my sword and shield. Please use Canva. Please, please, please use Canva. Please download 1,000 templates for $2. If you are pretending that you do not have the time to do these things, you are mismanaging your time in other places because this is what the business is. The business isn't just selling, a coffee to somebody that's on the street. The business is much bigger than this. And if you are not seeing that bigger picture, you are going to be stuck and unable to scale, unable to find new clients, unable to look at yourself and say, I'm doing the best work. You are giving up that part of yourself and you are giving up that agency that you have as a business owner, that you have as a designer, and having a say in what your business looks like. It's zapping the creativity out of your brain. And again, putting it into some humming box in the middle of a field somewhere, disrupting a small town, ruining the property value. And for what? For terrible designs and an AI flyer for an event that nobody's going to come to.